The opioid crisis slams Richmond County and triggers a visit from the North Carolina Attorney General. Also an update on the man killed by his own dog in Hamlet and your official Richmond County Athlete of the Week in tonight's edition of Live at 5. Richmond County's nightly news starts right now. Welcome to Live at 5. Now for tonight's top story. Richmond County, while in a very rural part of North Carolina, is following the nationwide pattern of a significant increase in opioid and heroin addiction. Opioids are a class of drug that are medically prescribed by doctors to control pain, and prescriptions for opioids are on the rise. Richmond County Health Director Dr. Tommy Jarrell recently noted, quote, "The death rate per 100,000 population for Richmond County is 18.8 and for the state is 12.2, end quote. He did continue, quote, "We are on the higher side of the state average. We're not on the highest in the state, but Richmond County is on the higher side," end quote. Tomorrow, the Attorney General for North Carolina, Josh Stein, will hold a press conference on the opioid crisis at the Richmond County Courthouse. The press conference is set for 3 p.m. and the Richmond Observer will have extensive coverage of the event. And for the full story on the opioid crisis in Richmond County, visit richmondobserver.com or download the RO app.
After an extensive period of searching for relatives of David Robert Baber, the victim of a fatal November 3rd attack by his own dogs, the Hamlet Police Department has reported they have located the family. The father and a brother of Baber were located in Michigan and have assumed familiar responsibilities for the deceased. Hamlet Police Department have been following various leads as to the identities and locations of family members, but to no avail until this past weekend. While collecting and cataloging Baber's personal property, Lieutenant Randy Jordan of Hamlet Police Department discovered informative family records and was subsequently able to find the victim's 88-year-old father and a younger brother in Michigan.
Training by a global leader in the protective relay systems will soon be incorporated into the curriculum for the electric utility substation and relay technology at Richmond Community College. Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories has donated over $11,000 in training to the program, plus $20,000 in donated equipment. Dr. Rishad Hussain, the electric utility substation and relay technology instructor, secured this training for RCC after months of communication with this leading company in the invention, design, and manufacturing of digital protective relay systems that protect high-voltage power grids around the world.
According to Dr. Hassan, the program will mean that graduates with a 2-year degree are better equipped than someone with a 4-year degree in electrical engineering to work in the utility industry. For more information about how you can enroll at Richmond Community College, visit richmondcc.edu. When we come back, Noah Altman, the official Richmond County Athlete of the Week presented by McNair Auto Sales, will be in studio to talk about the 2017 undefeated JV football season. Stay with us.
McNair Auto Sales is the place to buy your pre-owned car, truck, or van. To be the best, it takes big selection, friendly staff, and great pricing. We guarantee a no-hassle buying experience, and financing is available right on site. So come see us today. We're located at 1026 East Broad Avenue in Rockingham. And remember, with over 40 years of experience, you know McNair is the name you can trust.
Hey folks, and welcome back into tonight's edition of Live at 5. I'm Managing Editor Kyle Pillar. It's Wednesday, and of course you know that means it's time for our official Richmond County Athlete of the Week segment presented by McNair Auto Sales. And just a heads up that this will be our last Athlete of the Week segment until the beginning of December, as winter sports are just getting underway. So we want to let those athletes get their season started before we start to feature more of Richmond County's brightest young stars. Also, please remember to check out our full-length featured articles on our website, our mobile app, and our Facebook page, as they'll debut every Wednesday morning as we pick up in a couple of weeks, as all the details of our student athletes can be found there. Tonight we have an exclusive Athlete of the Week, as all of the fall sports seasons are over, and so now we also have our first junior varsity athlete in studio. He's a sophomore at Richmond and is the quarterback of the JV Raiders football team. Our nominee helped lead the Raiders to a perfect 10-0 season under center, while also picking up the inaugural Sandhills Athletic Conference title. Our male athlete was responsible for 12 total touchdowns this season, 8 through the air and 4 on the ground, and helped the Richmond offense average a 29.7 points per game. He loves to travel, play golf, study football film, and has already made up his mind of what he'd like to do after high school and college. And it's my pleasure now to introduce you all to sophomore quarterback Noah Altman. Noah, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, you're a couple weeks off now from your championship 10-0 season with the junior varsity Raiders football team. So congratulations for that, first of all. Absolutely. So, you're here because we want to talk football. The Richmond Observer, we cover your team this year. We covered all of your games, and we want to bring to light your championship season. So just kind of start off by telling the folks at home what the 10-0 season meant to you or means to you, and how did y'all get from spring practice to just a couple weeks ago?
Well, so last year on 9th grade, so that's my first year in Richmond football, and Richmond football is the biggest thing in Richmond County.
Right.
So they're telling us how all the other 9th grade teams go undefeated. They beat all these other teams. So we have high expectations going into 9th grade year, and we go 3-5. So that's that's pretty bad. And so we still work out and everything, and working out, I guess, at the start of my second semester in 9th grade.
Okay.
And Coach Fly writes down he was the head coach last year. He writes down the schedule on the board, showing us, hey, we got to get ready. We have these guys.
And
first
Wake
game,
Forest, right?
Yeah, Wake Forest. And their first game in Wake Forest, they haven't lost in 4 years. So that's a big one right there.
Sure.
So everybody's nervous. We went 3-5 last year. How are we going to beat these guys? They haven't been beaten 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then spring practice starts. Everything looks so sloppy because it's a new system, new coach.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of read option stuff is a lot more complicated than that, but it's just a complicated system to learn and understand. And towards summer, we have practices 3 days a week, and so everything starts to kind of come together, and we're looking better and better. And so I was still unsure, obviously, if I was going to be the quarterback or not. And I practiced like I would be the starting quarterback. It's going to be me.
Yeah.
But I was unsure. But we had a great week of practice. Went into Wake Forest. We were up 16 to. I don't remember the other story. We were up 16 to something, a one-score game, and we're on the 20-yard line, something like that. A play-action pass, and I throw it, and it's tipped off this dude's hand.
Yeah.
And literally the fastest linebacker ever catches this thing, and he's out. And pick six with like 2 minutes left in the game. So
that forced y'all to go into overtime, right?
Yeah, and we end up scoring in overtime. So it's 23-16, and they score, and we blocked the extra point to win in overtime. So that was huge for us.
Yeah, and certainly that was kind of a monumental point in the season. Even it being the first game, you guys kind of snapping that 3+ year win streak by Wake Forest. And so how did that win, and how did that bring the JV football team together, and how did that kind of boosted you to the front of the totem pole as far as being the leader on the team? But so how did that win kind of propel you guys further in the season?
Yeah, well, we practiced against our defense all summer, obviously, and we know our defense is the real deal. But they go up there and they 23 points, but the defense only allowed 1 touchdown, and it was in overtime when they sat the ball on the 10-yard line and gave them 4 downs to score. So we saw our defense was the real deal, and we knew offense had to step up. We should have played a better game than we did. So yeah, I knew I had to take a leading role in the offense, being the quarterback. That's what you do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and you're being kind of humble. You're talking about too. You talked to me the other day about how your backs and your wide receivers and your offensive line. You said you were just another piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. Sure.
How did all of those pieces fit together to go 10-0? Because I don't think people realize that how hard it is week in and week out. Practice Monday through Wednesday, and then go out on Thursday nights and play. So how did all those pieces come together to have a perfect season?
Well, I mean, it was. We came together well. We were nervous going into the season, honestly. I know I was. I was nervous as to how we were going to all work together. Last year on the team, there was a lot of jarring back and forth between teammates. So, that was tough. And this year we just wanted a sense of unity, because if you're not together as one, you're not going to win at all.
Sure.
And especially the season, the schedule that we had being one of the toughest schedules Richmond County's ever had. So yeah, we knew that we had to come together if we were going to win, and we did a really good job of it.
Good. So let's kind of talk about some other big games throughout the season. I mean, you yourself were responsible for 12 touchdowns. You had 8 passing, 4 rushing. The offense, Richmond offense, averaged just under 30 points per game. And one of the toughest games this year was against Butler. You guys only scored 6 points. So just kind of what was different about that team? And I mean, because that really was, I think, your closest game this season.
Yeah. Well, Butler was, that's another tough one, almost a lot like Wake Forest. Going into Butler, they're a great team, and when I say a great team, I mean a great program. They have a great varsity team, so that usually translates to a pretty good JV team. So going into Butler, we're fresh off a win against Wake Forest, Wake Forest week 1, then we beat Pine Forest week 2. So, we have some confidence now, go into Butler. Offense doesn't play as well as we should have. We scored one time. I think that was our second possession, maybe our first. I'm pretty sure it was our second. But and then it was kind of just a hard-fought game from there. Defense played tremendous to pitching a shutout. And, yeah, I mean, we came together.
Yeah.
Found a way to win.
Yeah, so. And another game you guys found a way to win was against Jack Britt. And that, if I remember correctly, they came to Richmond. Both of y'all were 5-0 at that point in the season. So, another big win there. And so ultimately you guys get to the championship game against Scotland. And we all know, anybody that's any which way familiar with Richmond football knows that Scotland, Richmond doesn't like Scotland. Scotland doesn't like Richmond. So, what was it like to not only finish the season 10-0, win the first Sandhills Athletic Conference title, but do it against a really, really tough Scotland team?
Well, it's tough. It's all these JV kids who played 9th grade last year. Scotland doesn't have a freshman team, so we didn't. This was our first year, playing them. A couple kids were pulled up last year and actually played against Scotland, but for most of us, this was our first time. So everybody's eager to get out there and see what this is all about,
Right.
And we had a phenomenal week of practice. Everybody's laser focused because this is a huge game. We, after beating 71st, which was the week before Scotland, we secured a portion of the conference championship.
Right.
So if Scotland beat us, we would have shared it, but we don't have any interest in sharing anything. So,
well, that's good, yeah. And so it was definitely a defensive battle, if I remember correctly. You rushed for a touchdown in that game, and you also threw for a touchdown, right?
Yeah.
So how were you guys? I mean, we just know Scotland's going to put up a good fight. So how were you and the offense and the defense able to lock them down? Well,
defense had been doing what they were doing all season. The O-line did a great job protecting me. We had a bunch of 3-and-outs, just tough. They had a great defense too, and we had a couple explosive plays. The deep pass to Tremel to win the game. That was a 66-yard fight.
60. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So to win, that was huge. But 14-0 doesn't really do it justice. It felt like it was a 3-0 game. I mean, it was so hard fought. So
yeah, definitely down in the trenches. I was there, and I know there were quite a few people in the stands. So, so what's it just mean for you to be able to wear the green and gold of Richmond's football?
I mean, it's great. We have 7 state championships, one of the best programs, the best in my opinion, best program in the state. It's great to see these other teams and think, oh, y'all really good, but y'all aren't Richmond, And there's a different passion in Richmond football. The fans are tremendous, The community's so involved in, Richmond's football program. It's amazing. I remember when Coach Teal first got here and he was giving a speech to, the team, all the parents, and he said literally like this is like the biggest program in the state, with everybody that's involved, the players, the coaches, the community.
Sure.
So it's great to, wear that green and gold and represent those who've played before me.
Yeah, and kind of talking about green and gold, the last little bit of football talk we'll have here is your junior year next year, right? Coach Hope, Patrick Hope, who's the JV coach, said that you were a student of the game, meaning that you watch film, you study the playbook, you practice relentlessly. So kind of what are your expectations now, having finished your sophomore season? You're going to be bumped up to varsity. What are your expectations for next year?
Well, that's tough. Caleb Hood is a phenomenal quarterback, and so he will likely be the quarterback going forward. And so I just want to help the team in any way that I can, whether it be holding on extra points like I did this year, or playing wide receiver, to anything I can do, special teams, defense, whatever it is.
Do you have a preference?
Whatever it is. I'd love to play wide receiver. I like having the ball in my hands. It's great. But anything that I can do to help the team. And as far as being a student of the game, I'm not the strongest or the fastest or any of that stuff. So understanding defenses and how they play and how we can manipulate them is it was huge for me this season. I remember the Pinecrest game. I stayed up to 12 o'clock watching film of them, writing stuff in my notebook. This, that, and went out and threw 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah, so I mean, and that kind of translates into what we're going to talk about next. But just being a student of the game, of course, wish you luck in your future adventures with Richmond football. But I do want to talk kind of briefly about you as a student. You are our student athlete of the week. You're a sophomore at Richmond. You're an AB honor roll student. My understanding, you like AP Gov?
Yes, I like AP Gov a lot. Just learning this stuff that I use it a lot. My youth pastor, I told you I'm very involved in the church yesterday, and he's a huge history guy. He loves history, and so it's cool how he can be talking about something. I can, oh yeah, I know that too. So I love it. I feel like I can apply it in everyday life. My family likes to travel a lot, so we see things, monuments and things like that, and I know what they are and know what they mean. So it's just really cool.
Yeah, and so kind of sticking with school and history and all of that. I mean, you said your family. You said you like to travel. What's the favorite place you've ever been?
New York City.
New York City.
Yeah.
A lot different than Richmond County.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Going from Hamlet, which is such a small town, tight knit, everybody knows each other, to going to New York City, which is the biggest place in the world. Felt like it was amazing. To see. It's an entirely different culture up there. Everything's fast paced, as opposed to Richmond County, where everything's kind of calm and except for Friday nights.
Yeah, except for Friday nights. So just kind of, what are your plans? Kind of going back to school. What are your plans for obviously you told me yesterday you want to maintain a good GPA. You want to be toward the top of your class. But, when we talked yesterday, you were very firm in your belief of what you want to do after high school and in college and then after college. Just kind of tell the folks at home what your aspirations are for college and then afterwards.
My dad manages and owns part of Griffin Nissan, so I'd love to do that when I'm grown. So I really want to go off to college somewhere, wherever it be. Get a 4-year degree in business, come back home and work for him, and then eventually manage on the store. So that's my future.
Yeah. So what do you think? What kind of schools are you thinking about? What about football or any sports in general?
Well, I mean, obviously I haven't given up on my football aspirations. One day I'd like to play college football. I think that'd be amazing. Whether it be D1, D2, D3, wherever it is, I'd like the opportunity. Sports teach you about life, so. It'd be great to play them in college. As far as academics, if I wasn't going to play football, I like to go to UNCW. My dad and my uncle both went there, played Division I baseball there. Obviously, I think every kid in North Carolina would love to go to Duke.
For sure, every kid.
But
there's probably some Tar Heel fans
probably
out there.
some Tar Heel fans that wouldn't want to go, but I'm a Duke fan, so I'd love to go there.
Absolutely.
As far as football. Honestly, I'd go anywhere that I could. I'd love to play football in college, so,
Well, I wish you the best of luck. And folks, still a lot more that I would love to be able to discuss about our guest Noah today. But, whatever we didn't cover, you can find in the article online at www.richmondobserver.com. You can find us on Facebook. And so, Noah, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Up next, folks, a lot more news coming your way, so stick around to Live at 5.
At Richmond Community College, we can prepare you for a high-skill, high-paying career in a variety of fields. From business to education, engineering, utilities, healthcare, criminal justice, information technology, and human services. At Richmond Community College, we can save you thousands of dollars on tuition through our university transfer programs that provide a seamless transition to universities and colleges throughout North Carolina. At Richmond Community College, we are always developing new courses and programs in response to the communities we serve. We offer day, evening, and online courses, and you can now complete 5 curriculum programs entirely online. At Richmond Community College, we believe in helping you prepare for a better life. Richmond Community College. Local college, big impact.
I'm Kelly. I worked at Champion 4 for 2 years.
6 years.
3 years.
1 year.
I've been at Champion Fort for 13 years.
1 whole year.
15 years.
I'm Jamie and I've been at Champion Ford for 12 years.
I've been here 8 years.
Champion prices, champion service, champion experience.
Get treated like a champion today at Champion Ford. Just down the road from high prices, championfordlincoln.com.
We are Champion Ford.
Family Pharmacy has been serving Richmond County since April 2007, and we have enjoyed getting to know our customers since then. We take our jobs very seriously, and will do whatever we can to make sure you have what you need. Come visit us on Fayetteville Road in Rockingham, and we will treat you like family.
With hospice, you guys just outdo yourselves every day. And I really appreciate it. I honest to God don't know what I would do if it weren't for you. The things that you do, I'm in approval of. And thank you. I don't know what else to say other than thank you.
Willow Tree Antiques and Gifts is all about rustic home decor and gifts. You will always find a variety of unique antiques, vintage, and new items in our shop. Come and see our selection of housewarming, new baby, and wedding gifts. For the man in your life, we have many collectibles, Boker knives, and leather. And ladies love the jewelry, purses, candles, hats, and t-shirts. We also offer a 30-day layaway program. Come and experience shopping at Willow Tree Antiques and Gifts.
Welcome back to Live at 5. Now for tonight's top sports story. After a third-place finish in the first year of the new Sand Hills Athletic Conference and reaching the second round of the state playoffs, the Richmond Senior High School Lady Raiders tennis team placed 3 players on the all-conference team. Congratulations are in order for senior Destiny Bowie and juniors Jayana Nicholson and Grayson Way. Read the full story on richmondobserver.com or on the RO app. Now to Kelsey Rushing for today's weather.
Thanks, Sierra. Today's 3-day weather forecast is brought to you by McNair Auto Sales. As you can see from our office cam, it's cold once again, and that just means it's a couple days closer to December, which I'm looking for Thanksgiving first. But other than that, let's go on to your 3-day weather forecast. The high for Thursday will be 68 and a low of 35 that evening. Friday will be a high of 60 with a low of 36. And then Saturday we'll have a high of 68, just as Thursday has, with a low of 48. So it's starting to warm up in the evening, starting Saturday, but probably not for very long. Other than that, let's go back to the news desk with you, Lance, for more Live at 5.
And that's a wrap for tonight's episode of Live at 5. Kelsey, thanks for doing the weather. And I want to let everyone know, of course, we've mentioned many times before, that the RO app is free to download on the Apple iPhone App Store and Google Play for Android devices. Really neat features. You can watch Live at 5 on demand, read today's local news, sports, obituaries, and also get coupons for places throughout Richmond County. Really, really neat app. And the best thing of all, it is free. And folks, I want to say this before we close tonight's show. There's been a lot of concern about the fact that we haven't had any of the Democratic candidates for the U.S. House of Representatives on our show. Here's the bottom line. Before Live at 5 ever launched, we extended the invitation to the state Republican and the state Democratic Party chairs and told them that they're welcome to come on our show at any time. Now, the only ones who took advantage of that early on were the Republicans. Make no mistake about it. The Richmond Observer is not affiliated with the Republican Party, and we're not affiliated with the Democratic Party. You know, they talk about media being fair and balanced. Well, the Richmond Observer is the epitome of being fair and balanced. We extend the invitation to anyone on either side of the aisle to come on this show and be a part and get their message out. Of course, Dr. Mark Harris was in studio earlier this week. Congressman Robert Pittenger has been in studio, and we welcome anyone from either side of the aisle to join the ranks of those two and be on our program at any time. Folks, that's it for Live at 5. We will see you tomorrow night for another edition of Richmond County's Nightly News. And to my dad, happy birthday tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you, and I love you. God bless, so long, and we'll see you tomorrow night for another edition of Live at 5.